If you have ever experienced feeling of stress or confusion when it comes to color mixing, then this is the video for you, because I am going to break the whole voodoo magic into 5 simple, easy, clear steps so that anyone can mix any color they want super easily. For this video, I am going to assume that you have a color wheel palette already, or you have a palette that's designed around it. If you don't know what color wheel palette is, then I will leave a link up here for you. Also, I'm going to be selling my own color wheel palettes and copies of my studio palettes very, very soon. So do look out for that launch video, which takes out all the guesswork in trying to put a color wheel palette together. So 5 steps. I'm going to talk through them, and then I'm going to show you how to do them in real life. So step 1 is to pick the main color, and that means picking the closest color to the color you're trying to get to. Is it almost a blue color? Is it a red color? That sort of thing. You want to try to find the color you have on your color wheel palette or your palette that is closest to it. Obviously, we all perceive color differently, so the first color you're going to pick may be different depending on the person. Also, sometimes they're like, oh, I don't know if this one is right or that one's right. If you feel confused between 2 colors, I highly recommend just swatching it on a piece of paper, comparing it to the color you're trying to get to, and that should tell you which one you should start off with, because one will clearly be closer to that color than the other. Now, step 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to talk about in one go, because they can be done in any order, depending on how you like to work, and also dictated by the color that you're trying to make as well. And also, you don't necessarily have to do all 3. It just really depends on the color. So step 2 is to dilute, but again, you might not do this step, or you might do this step later than step 2. So diluting is about getting the right value. If you're like doing a pale color, then it's really good to get your paint mixture to a pale watery color first before you tweak it. If you are trying to do the color while it's still really intense dark value color, when you're trying to match it to a very pastel color, you're going to have problems, so you might want to do that first. Step 3 is neutralize. So if it's not a bright intense color, you're going to want to neutralize to the color you're matching it to. So all you have to do is mix it with its complementary color. That's the color that's opposite to it on the color wheel. And in certainly my palettes, the color wheel palettes, the colors have the same letters. So for example, if you pick a ultramarine blue, that's in a B bracket well. And so all you have to do is pick the color that's in the B well, which is why I label my wells. And then step 4 is, depending on the color you are trying to mix, you might want to add a secondary color. You might think, I'm trying to make this blue color, but it could really do with a little bit of violet or a little bit of green, that sort of thing. As I said, these 3 can be done in any order, and a lot of the time you only end up doing a couple of those steps, or even just 1 step, and that's totally okay. And then the final step, and this is only needed if you need an exact match to your color that you're trying to make, is to let the color sample dry. Watercolor will change color, we call it color shift, when it dries. All watercolor will dry lighter than what you put down, except if you have a white pigment anywhere in there. You used an opaque color like a Naples yellow, or you just added white to make it opaque, then that will dry darker. I know it's a little bit confusing, and therefore why, if you need an exact match on a color, then you do need to let the sample dry and then match the color again. One warning with this, you might be tempted to speed up the process to dry it with a hairdryer or a heat gun. if you can avoid it, and if you need an exact match, I recommend you don't do that, because some colors in some paints and some brands, if you apply heat to that color, it actually changes the color to a different color than what it will dry as if you let it dry naturally. So that is the 5 steps. It's a little bit abstract, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So here I have my deviled egg plate. If you want something like this, you can get specialized 12-well color theory palette, but they're really expensive. Whereas if you just go and look for egg plates, because eggs come in a dozen, they tend to have 12 wells already, and that's what you want. You want a 12-well thing, but you don't need this. And in the next demo, I'm going to show you how you can do this in a normal palette as well. So it has 12 colors. If you want to know, I have already made a video detailing this palette, why it's like this, what does all the letters mean, and what colors they are. So I will link that up here for you so you can check it out if you want to know in more detail. Again, also, I'm going to be selling a color wheel palette that is in a normal palette very soon as well. So do look out for that if you don't want to have to put one together for yourself. And each pair neutralizes perfectly. And that's very, very important. That's more important than having all the colors of the color wheel. And each neutralizing pair is denoted with a letter. So we have C and bracket C wells. And I know that the 2 C's will neutralize each other. And that doesn't feel so needed in this palette, because you can just pick the opposite color to the one you're working on. But as you'll see in a normal palette later on, these become valuable labels. So let's try mixing a color. I have a color reference, I have my color wheel palette, I have my mixing palette. I also have strips of paper. This is just leftover strips of paper from cutting dot cards and things. I've also cut one of these strips into smaller strips, and I also punched a hole on either side with a hole punch, and I will show you why that is super useful in a minute. You can either do this just straight in a mixing well, or you can, what I call creating a recipe, which is to mix your colors on here just to give you a map of what you should do without having to waste a whole lot of paint. So for step 1 is picking the main color, and I'm seeing like a yellowy orangey color. So I want to go with the nearest color that's in my palette, and that's B. So let's see what that looks like. So that's a nice orange color, but I feel it's a little bit strong. So I'm going to dilute that with a bit of water, keep diluting it, maybe rinse out the brush a bit more. So this is step 2 of diluting it. If you want to make it lighter, add more water. If you want to make it darker, add more paint. So that is looking great. And then I feel like this is a little bit too orange, and I want to add a little bit of yellow to it. So I'm going to do that by adding a secondary color. Now, in this example, we don't need to neutralize the color. Oh, that's way too much yellow. So let's pick something between the two from here. And that's looking great. And that's going to give you a map of what you need to do to create the mix. So that's what I'm going to do now, following this map. So I'm going to pick a tiny bit of the orange, only a tiny bit, and make sure you mix plenty, because there's nothing worse than doing all the hard work of getting the right color and then finding out that you don't have enough, because you can never really mix the same color twice. And then I'm just testing it out on here. That looks great. And then pick up the tiniest amount of yellow. I'm feeling like these are a little bit too pale right now.
I'm going to use this paper as a repository for
So I feel like that's a great color. Now, if you want to really make sure that you have a good mix of color and see how close you are, what you do is you take one of the colors with the hole and cover the whole area around the hole with your paint. And then what you can do is take it over to your sample and see how well it's matching. I'm feeling like this is a little bit bright and that the colors certainly around here a little bit more muted, and that means neutralized. So this is when neutralizing comes in. So my main color is B, which means I can use the color in the B, well, just a tiny bit, little dip, and use it to neutralize the color. Maybe a little bit more. When you're working with such pale color, you only need tiny amounts. I'm just going to see if it's any different from this color to begin with. No, I think it needs a bit more. Oh, that might have been too much. We'll give it a go. Let's have a look. So yeah, that was a little bit too much. So I'm just going to dial it back a bit and add a bit more brightness to it by adding more of the B paint. Yeah, that I picked up way too much. I'm going to give it a try with this. So you are going to swatch a lot, so do make a lot more paint than you think you're going to need. How's that? I feel like it needs a little bit more orange and then lightening it up a bit. So I add some water. Oh, I like that. It's feeling very strong, but also don't forget that colors will dry lighter. So one way to cheat is add a bit more water only onto your brush and make a lighter sample, and then you pray that your main color dries that way. It's a bit slapdash, but I think that's not bad. But using this whole method will really show you whether you've got the right color or not for that specific area. So it's super useful. I could tweak like this forever, but I just want to show you guys how to get to pretty close color match. And if you want an exact color match, then you tweak and you use those steps again, using the main color, the dilution. Do you need to neutralize it a bit more, and you need to add a secondary color. And again, if you need an exact match, let this sample dry, let all the samples dry really, because they'll tell you which you are closest to, and then go from there. Let's try another color. I love this indigo color, so we're gonna get a clean plate, and I can see straight away that the main color is gonna be a blue color. And instead of this color wheel palette, we are going to be using my studio palette, which has all the color wheel colors, and they're labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, bracket A, bracket B, so on and so forth, so that I can easily see still, even though they're not in perfect circular opposite placement physically, I still know which color I need to use to neutralize whichever color. So first of all, I see that it's blue, and I'm going to stick to the colors that are marked in the well rather than use other colors, because I do have indigo, which will be perfect for this, but let's just stick to what we have labeled. So here's blue, and I'm going to swatch it just to see how close I am in just different things. So I want to go for like this shade color, and for that I think I'm going to need a little bit more paint first. And then obviously the fabric is a little bit more muted, which means I need to neutralize. Now the ultramarine blue that I took lives in a bracket B well, so I use whatever's in the opposite one, the B well, for this palette. And if you want to see what colors I have in this palette, which is slightly different from the color wheel palette that you just saw, I will leave links up here for you. I just want a tiny bit of that blue, and this is me showing you that you don't always necessarily need to make a color recipe. You can just mix it in this well, but I recommend using the recipe map if you are needing to make a big batch of color and you need to know exactly what to do before you waste a lot of paint. So let's just have a look. I like where it's going. I see that it's getting more indigo-y, but I definitely need more intensity, more value. I also need to make more of it because this palette's almost dry already. So I'm going to mix more of both. So a lot of the ultramarine blue, like this, and then a tiny bit more of the trans red. Ooh, I'm liking that. Let's swatch it out here. That is nice. Let's just, if you don't want to use the whole method, you can just paint your sample all the way to the edge like this. It's not going to be as accurate as the whole method, but it will save you the fuss of having to make those holy cards. So let's say I'm going to do it about here. I would say that for me, I'll be happy with this, but I feel like it has a little bit of warmth to it that these colors don't have. So as a secondary color, I want to just add a little bit of phthalo blue to see where it goes, just to give it that warmth. I think I've been touching. So to me, I'm much more happy with this color mix. It has that little bit of warmth and it matches this area a lot better. So you can just stop here, not do the whole method if you don't want to, and you can let it dry. But for me, I'm not after exact color matches. I just need it near enough. Then I would just stop here and use this paint for what I need it to do. So I hope the 5 steps made good sense to you, and I'm really hoping that by using color theory in your palette and having these 5 steps will make it so much easier for you to mix the exact color that you are wanting to have. All you have to remember is the main color, dilution, secondary color, neutralization, and optional, let the sample dry and see how the value change. This is why I'm so passionate about designing palettes around the color theory, because it makes color mixing so much easier. It makes it systematic rather than it being a surprise. However, if you are a little bit scared of putting the work into making your own, I will have them on sale soon, so do watch out for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was useful to you. If it was, then please hit the like button, comment away. If I haven't been clear in anything and you have other questions, then do ask away in the comments down below, and I will either try and answer them or create a video that answers your question if I feel that that is useful for a lot of people. Honestly, the comment sections and the questions you guys ask are so inspirational and they really motivate me to make new videos for you guys. So thank you so much for your comments. Okay, I'm gonna go. Happy color mixing. Hope that the color mixing saints and the fairies will stay with you from now and forever. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!